I need to fix the kids' radio flyer. Well, these inner tubes went bad, and man, they're a pain in the butt. I have tried and tried to break these off and then get them back on, and it's nearly impossible. So what I decided to do was I was going to go to Harbor Freight and buy some 10-inch pneumatic tires, but I didn't want to spend any money as I already had purchased some inner tubes. In fact, I bought 2 and the guy sent me 3. So anyways, I decided I was going to make some 2-piece wheels out of these. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's super simple, doesn't really take much. But yeah, hope you enjoy. First off, you got to break the ring on here. I don't know what you call it. There's probably a technical name. I just use my tin snips that pop right off. You can get these at any hardware store to replace. You're going to need to go buy a couple bolts and a couple washers if you choose to go this way to repair the wheels. But that's step 1 to get the tires off. Alright, next step, you need to remove the tire from the wheel hub assembly. Now, man, I'm real cheap, and so I actually the other day found some pliers in the street that had this bends on them, and they worked out perfect, just like removing tires, but a flat tip screwdriver will work. Remember, you only need to do this once, because now it's going to be as simple as 2 bolts to replace the inner tubes of these tires. Alright, now that I just wrestled this thing out here, we're ready to cut it in half. And it's not rocket science, it's just a wagon. I'm just going to pick a spot, put it in my vise, cut it in half. Side note, this cap does come off. I figured that out after I drilled it, because I thought my bolts would be on the outside, but this comes off and they'll be on the inside. So I'm just using a regular wood sawzall blade. I could probably use a plumbing saw or something like that, because it wants it to melt, but anyways, I don't want to go out to my car and get my plumbing saw. So I just kind of stick this in the center and go to town. Alright, now we've got a 2-piece wheel. What I do is I take a knife or something and try and just deburr this edge. I don't really care about all this funky stuff because it's going to be bolted together, it doesn't matter. But I'll show you the next step after I get this deburred. I just kind of pick a spot in one of these 2 and drill a hole. So I did it kind of opposite of the filler neck. Anyways, I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I'm working with some 1/4-inch bolts. I did a project a couple months ago and I had a bunch of leftover parts and I knew I would use them. And so these are 2.5 inches long, which would be just perfect for the distance needed to span these wheels. You're also going to need some washers, and these washers that I happen to have are too big, so I'm going to fold them. I'm going to put a bend in them so that they'll go closer to the hub, and I'll show you what it looks like once all done. I just put it in my vise and then hit it with a hammer. Good to go. Okay, next I inserted the tube into the tire. And I inflated it just enough to give it some shape, because what it does is it sucks it away from the opening. What we're going to do is we're just going to take some duct tape and line the inside of that tube, and I'll show you how that's done here. Alright, got my duct tape in there. I did this so that the tire tube isn't running right along with that seam that we cut. There's a little insulation or isolator, I guess, to kind of help it. Next, we're just going to bolt these together. Okay, so there's our completed wheel. Sorry I wasn't able to show drilling and all that stuff. However, you can kind of see exactly what I did. I just picked an open hole. You're going to have to kind of find the balance between the front and the back, because there's some splines and stuff, and obviously you have the center of the wheel to watch out for. But yeah, just make sure it's straight. You don't pinch your valve, and then go ahead and pump it up, and then your cover plate should cover that up, and now you'll always be able to just quickly replace those tubes.